Hey guys, and welcome to episode 8, I believe this is, of In the Zone. You can see on my right side is Matthew Rodriguez, and I think it's appropriate to start with this picture. Zero teams in NBA playoff history have come back from trailing 3-1 deficit twice in the same postseason. I think Jamal Murray is giving us 2016 Braun, vibes. So yeah, I think that's a fair representation of the Clippers Nuggets. All right, so Matthew, thanks again for coming. Um,
Of course, of
I think
course.
we've got a lot to unpack with this episode.
We were gonna hit it yesterday. We were gonna talk about it yesterday, but it was real late.
Yeah, it was like we were thinking about like since it was okay. So for you guys who are out of context and out of the loop, this is the day after the Nuggets came back from 31 against the Clippers, and my oh my, me and Matthew were planning on doing it at like 4:30 in the morning because we just had to do this episode. But
This
Matthew's
is
parents
probably
decided
gonna
to
be
stay up
like
late. Yeah.
the most anticipated series ever. And what's so sad is that all of us were talking about, oh, let's go Clippers and Lakers. We can't wait for that to happen. LA versus LA, and just to watch it crumble and not see it happen
Yeah,
was
like
probably the
it.
best feeling I
I
ever
remember I
had.
made a comment to Mitra. It's like we're gonna get the Battle of LA. This is about to be sick. It's like so long as one of them doesn't collapse. And like the Clippers, I thought were the safer of the two teams because the Rockets can beat anyone. Which we'll get to the Rockets in a bit.
Oh
Matthew,
yeah, I want
you'll
to
ever.
talk really bad on them, and I want to get into a whole process, but I'll let you talk.
So we're gonna get into the Rockets later. But I remember I told Mitra that we're gonna get the Battle of LA. This is gonna be hype. This is gonna be the best matchup all year because every game has been a classic. Up until the final like 5 minutes, every game was close. Even the ones that ended in like 15-point blowouts, they were all close. And so I was like, this is gonna be amazing. The 2020 is finally gonna look up. If 20, yeah, let me see if I can find the actual. Oh, I'll take the full L in a second because I remember I messaged you something. I mean, if you want to recount it, but like I remember, oh my gosh, I was messaging Mitra. I was like, Jesus. And let's see. Said I still got Clippers in 7. I remember I told Mitra that it's like regardless of what the Nuggets do, I still have the Clippers in 7. And let me see if I can find it. Uh,
Even if the Clippers lost, I still got them in 7.
yeah, yeah. Let's see where it is. Uh, oh, I said here it is. Here it is. I can't believe we're finally going to get the LA Clippers versus the Los Angeles Lakers. He said, yeah, as a Rockets fan, I think this is over. He said, unless the Lakers collapse. And with AD and Braun, it's going to be hard for them to lose 3 straight to the Rockets, man. But get excited, man. Lakers and Clippers. What it do, baby? Is it
Dude,
be honest, this is going to be this is going to be the best matchup by a good margin. Most star powers, two best diehard players. It said it says wait, he said watch it be like the Lakers or the Clippers, so one of them doesn't make it. He said no, that's not going to happen. This series is going to be 7 games. I said watch it. I said bro, if that happens, 2020 will officially suck balls. And what do you know? It officially sucked balls.
um, yeah,
I mean, like
yeah.
we've been hyping this matchup all year. It seemed like these two teams were going to go head to head, and then
It was like seeing, the I guess you would say the old school type of style of basketball meeting somewhat the bully ball, the new guys that just arrived to town, basically saying, "Hey, we're gonna take over LA, and I don't care what you're gonna say." But I guess they were just so, like, that's the thing that happens when it happened with the Houston Rockets as well. They were so made just to stop the Warriors. They forgot they got other people they need to play against and fight around, and I feel like, because if you really look at it, they were just so worried about, oh, we got to get ahead of the Lakers. They got Marcus Morris Senior, right? That's how you say his name.
I think it's Marcus Morris. Yeah, the one that's like a trashy guy. Yeah.
The one who's a POS. Yeah, that literally, like, the Lakers were trying hard to get him. They were trying hard to get Reggie Jackson. They oh my gosh, man, they traded a lot for
Yeah.
Paul
Should we
George.
read off what they traded to get to Paul George? And I know I sent it to my brother because I remember I was
5
roasting.
years of their future. 5 years
Yeah,
of the future is what they traded for Paul.
let me read it out. Let's see if I can read it out. Find it and read it out. All right. Clippers received Paul George. Thunder received Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, 2022 Lake Clippers first round pick, 2024 Clippers first round pick, 2026 Clippers first round pick,
Oh my god.
2021 Miami first round pick, 2023 Miami first round pick, 2023 and 2025 pick swaps. It's like they literally don't have a first round pick until 2027 because of that trade. And they got Pandemic P in exchange for that. I mean, like,
Like,
okay,
what
there's so much to unbag with this Clippers series.
can we
Not
say that like Paul, like even if they try to trade Paul George, his stock value for his trade is gone way down. It really shows that Paul George like needs someone to officially carry him. And I guess I was like telling myself last year, maybe it's just the Russell Westbrook toxicity that's just like giving him this kind of vibe. But
like he
no,
took it's
dude,
like the
like
Monstars. I swear Westbrook is like the Monstars. He takes away everyone's basketball ability.
yeah, like he nearly took down Harden with him, and I was like, "What?" And I no, this shows that Paul George is not a winner. He's not a winner like that. When the lights shine the brightest, he's not gonna prove anything. Uh, I feel like the only times he's ever proved himself is maybe with the Pacers when they were like really young and they were
PG
just.
24 is way better than PG 13. I've got to say that.
He should have
Like when he
kept the
was
24.
24, he felt different. Like he felt like an NBA superstar.
That was a Kobe. That was a Kobe. A like player. That was, a young buck that was gonna just. People say like he's just the worst version of Kevin Durant and LeBron James. I can see that, but man,
I mean, like
he's got.
instead of how we yell out Kobe whenever we make a shot or
Mhm.
whenever we take a shot. Whenever we know we're gonna miss, when it's gonna be like a terrible release, you got to yell out Pandemic P or Paul
And,
George or something like that. Like it's a joke at this point to say he's a top 10 player in the NBA. Like
and
anyone who says it's a joke. Like
I
he
feel like
really isn't.
it's. Sorry, go.
I think he's so inconsistent that you can't put him into the top 10 anymore. There's so many players that have just now surpassed him. Even in this postseason, we saw Dame Lillard ascend into like the upper realms of the NBA in the postseason. Devin Booker did it.
Even what's even shoot Donovan Mitchell. I would
Yeah.
take him to take the last shot than Paul George.
Honestly. I mean, hats off to the. Is this more of a Nuggets comeback or a Clippers win or a Clippers choke? Correction.
I would say Clippers chemistry. You notice how much load management they had, and like if you look at all of it, they say that like in total they only played together 19 games.
Yeah, like
They
when everyone was fully healthy, it was like everyone. I think everyone gave them the benefit of the doubt because they had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. It's like there's no way this team is gonna lose to anyone other than the Lakers.
Everybody thought you thought I thought because we thought Kawhi was just built differently, but then I started noticing like I noticed like there was some kind of scratches and some kind of I guess you would say like flaws that you could see in Kawhi. He is very creative. He's one of the best. He probably is the best two-way player in the game right now.
Other
But
than
there's
maybe Jimmy Butler or Giannis, like you got and LeBron, like high level, high level. He's obviously high level, and he's
but
probably the best two-point scorer in the league, and I don't think anyone's disputing that. Like I think he is the best mid range. He's the mid range guy. Like he is the best mid range shooter.
he is almost exactly the opposite of what James Harden is. He's very unpredictable. He can go up and take a 2 point mid range, or he can come into the paint and just slam it. He can take up some pop up threes. He's really good. He's a really good catch and shoot corner player, and he's got that kind of like Spurs system inside of him. But then when we found out like he is he's not a leader. That's what I have to say. He's not a leader. Whenever he was in Toronto, we all knew who was the leader, and that was Kyle Lowry. It just showed when he was going against the Boston Celtics this last series. And to be honest, I kind of thought like I kind of thought the Celtics should have not the Celtics, the Raptors should have won, but Pascal Siakam didn't really show up, that much. I can't really blame him because he's still very, very young. But dude, it just kind of shows Kawhi is not a leader. They need a new coach, in my opinion. Sorry, go.
I think you're wrong in some sense. Yes, Kawhi is not a traditional leader, but he's a leader on the court. So when he plays bad, that's when the team starts to play bad. Because normally with the Raptors, you're right. Kyle Lowry was like the vocal leader. He was clearly the alpha dog. But Kawhi Leonard was obviously the best player. And whenever they needed someone to, to get a bucket, to, right the ship and
Whenever they
to
needed
be
someone to
quiet,
just lock
like
down,
like
yeah,
Kawhi Leonard. Can I speak really quick?
yeah, go, go.
Kawhi Leonard was the perfect summarization of the entire country of Canada. Like he was quiet, he did his job, he didn't have a smile, he just did his job perfectly, and that was what In a lot of the instances, that was what saved the Raptors, and in a lot of instances, that was what saved the Clippers. It was Kawhi Leonard just doing what he was. But whenever, like, for lack of a better word, shit got tough real quick. Like whenever that happened, they needed a vocal leader like a Kobe, like a LeBron. I mean, even like a Westbrook. As much as Westbrook is not as good as he used to be, his vocal ability
A
would have
Chris Paul, a Chris
pushed him. Yeah,
Paul. Let's just
mentally.
say Chris Paul, man.
Yeah, Chris Paul. Yeah, that's actually better than Westbrook because at least he's actually good. Like
Yeah,
I
he's
feel like
very consistent, but he's just like very minimal consistency.
who Chris Paul or Westbrook.
Chris Paul, like he's so strict on his consistency, he doesn't really try new things.
But yeah, you know what I mean though. Like Chris Paul, I think would have been better in that game 7 than Kawhi or Paul George. Take your pick. Both played garbage. They did their contribution to Kobe. They did their montage by scoring 24 points. You
Uh,
know, like
yeah, I get it. Like, people were getting really bored of, LeBron's dominance, but like to be honest, I don't see how you can compare this man to LeBron because if LeBron was put in that situation, doesn't matter who was in front of him, he's gonna try his best to win that game. It's not really like that. He's got to have that Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant mentality where like they're not afraid who's in front of them. And I felt like Kawhi was just too inconsistent with his shot. And not only that, he was tired, bro. That's what happens when you load manage way too much.
yeah, I
You're out of
remember.
shape.
Man,
Sorry, go.
I'll say this really quick. Keep your thought in mind. But I remember I saw this. I was like, "There's no way this is true. This is embarrassing. It is." In the fourth quarter, there were Clippers players that were tired and couldn't do 3 minutes of basketball without having a timeout. That's why Doc Rivers kept calling the timeouts because they kept getting tired and tired. It's like
Mhm.
that's pretty bad. Like we could play the minutes that they did and not be tired. Like we're
We
not
had a
even
better
professional
plus
players.
minus than Kawhi did.
Yeah. It's like that's so bad. Like I don't get how if you're a professional basketball player, you should not be tired after 3 minutes of basketball play. Not unless you're like super fat or something like that. And even then, Glenn Davis still played like 20 minutes. Like you can still be okay and like have no fitness. Like Jokic used to use like no fitness. He would barely run anything. He could barely move, but like, he's playing 50 minutes, you know? All right, continue with your thoughts. Sorry for interrupting.
No, no, you're good. You're good. Hold on. I'm trying to find Kawhi's stats. Here we are. Here we are.
Wasn't it like
Yeah,
six or
Kawhi
22?
played. He was 6 for 22, 27% field goal percentage. He was 2 for 7 from the 3 point land. He was 28% from the 3 point percentage, 2 turnovers. His plus minus was a negative 21. Dude, look, if I was Kawhi, and this is the thing, like we put Kawhi to such a high standard because he locked down Giannis Antetokounmpo, the MVP last year, and arguably he like kind of like Thanos snapped the whole Sixers future. Like think about it. Like after that happened, the Sixers went downhill. That process literally went to nothing.
Yeah, like Kawhi Leonard legitimately said F the process.
Yeah, he pretty, and it was sad because if the Sixers would have won, they would have had a legitimate chance at the championship, but they were just too.
They just
Uh,
ran into a monster. I mean, like that's the only way you could. Same with the Bucks. They just ran into a monster in Kawhi Leonard that year. And like
yeah,
he definitely showed that he still was the monster for like the majority of the series. But the second that it went 3-1, everything just went downhill so
because
so quickly.
With the Raptors, he fits so well with that team. Everybody was. That's what I love about the Raptors, and why I feel like Nick Nurse should get more credit is that he knows how to gel everybody together. He's a very, very extraordinary coach, and something that Doc Rivers doesn't really have. With Nick Nurse, there's a lot of adjustments. Although I do think he plays the crap out of his players. Like if you look at freaking Fred Van Fleet's minutes, that guy's gassed out. I don't know how the hell he played that. But yeah, if you
Uh,
look at the minutes for Paul George and well, Kawhi Leonard had really acceptable minutes. He had 43 minutes and 30 seconds. But if you look at other players' minutes, Landry Shamet, he only had 6 minutes. Uh, I don't think he's that terrible. I think he should provide a lot more minutes. Lou Williams, 24 minutes, only had 7 points. He was 3 for 11 from the field. Lemon Pepper Lou, this is, a 6 man of the year candidate. And you mean to tell me this guy didn't close out for the Clippers? I don't
and
know.
so do you feel? I asked this earlier. I don't think you understood the context of the question. Do you think that this is more impressive by the Nuggets, or this is more on the Clippers for losing this?
Oh, sorry. I was trying to explain that this is more of a chemistry problem for the Clippers. It kind of shows a really big flaw that they didn't take appreciation when they were there for the regular season. This is, yes, a more of a loss for the Clippers, although I do think the Denver Nuggets succeeded. I guess they saw that little hole, the little hole of light, and they just crawled out of there. And, by their success, they did amazing. MPJ, Michael Porter Jr., that man, he's the future. He is the future. I
He
see
doesn't
him
do much
doing really
yet,
good.
but he's definitely a factor. He's an X. If he goes up at like 15, then I remember I said this at the start of the series. I said Clippers in 7 at the start.
Extremely
And I
efficient.
changed,
Let's just say that.
yeah, I said Clippers at 7 at the start, and I changed it to Clippers in 6 when they went up 3-1 because I thought Denver would still have fight in him, but I didn't think that the Clippers would let him get that to Game 7 where anything can happen. And I said that if Michael Porter Jr. scores 10 points and if Jamal Murray gets 20 plus points and Jokic just does Jokic and is the lowdown block player
He's
in
the
this.
best center in the game.
I mean, it's him or Joel Embiid, honestly. But like, I
But
think
to be
I
honest,
remember I said that in order to beat the Clippers, you have to have a low post presence, and the Nuggets had the perfect player for that. A person who can literally pick the whole team apart just like that. I think that I said that that's the way the Nuggets win the series is if, because whenever I predict 7, it's like this can go either way. But I remember I said I trust the Clippers way more than I trust the Nuggets to get it done. But like the Nuggets have the tools, because like the Mavericks don't have the tools yet to beat the Clippers, and
but
that was
that's the
the
thing.
issue. That was the issue. They had Kristaps, who was a low post presence, but he's not superstar like Jokic is or an Embiid is. Like he's not that level of a big man or an
But
AD. Like
I felt
and
like, sorry,
yeah.
go.
And as I said that Doncic is the best player on the court other than Kawhi, but like he's not going to be able to do this by himself. I could see them getting two. And the same thing with the Nuggets. I said Jamal Murray has the potential to be the second or third best player on the court at all times because of the way he played in the Jazz series. I was like, if they can get, 2 straight wins at some point, then they could get the series like by their necks. But I was like, I don't see that happening. I'm predicting Clippers, because I thought that the Clippers would get something done, but
You thought
everything I
Kawhi
said
would
came to
show
pass.
up, right?
Yeah, like everything I said came to pass. The Nuggets had the best low post presence. Jamal Murray decided to go off in the most crucial moments. Michael Porter Jr. went off in the most crucial moments. Like the Clippers, it
You
wasn't a
could,
fact that I think it was as much the fact that they got beat as Denver won, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
Denver came back from double digit deficits, like 15 plus point deficits twice in a row, back to back games, in elimination games. And then they came back and thrown 10 plus points down in game 7 they just walloped them. Like that's got to be something. Like that's impressive on Denver's mentality. Like I don't think people give them enough credit because of how it happened for the Clippers and how much like garbage Patrick Beverly was talking
Oh,
about
give
like
credit where
Cancun and
credit's
Kareem.
due. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like the Nuggets need to get their due credit. I think that people are finally looking at this team as like a serious threat to everyone, you know,
Mhm.
including the Lakers. But
Yeah.
you go on your thoughts. Sorry
Uh,
about.
No, you're good. You're good. What I was gonna say is that I feel like this is where the Lakers are gonna miss Avery Bradley the most because he was mostly their perimeter defender when it came to any point guards or any fast shooting guards. That's why I felt like when it came to James Harden, they defended him well as if double teaming him. But since they didn't have a low post presence for the Rockets, I feel like that's where it's going to hurt them when they go against the Denver Nuggets. They can double team Jamal, but Jokic has that court vision. He's kind of what I read in an interview one time was Nikola Jokic was his favorite player was LeBron, and that just clicked. I was like, oh, that makes more sense. He's a playmaking, rebound, sort of scoring machine. Like you said, he's a low post presence, but every time he ever did the pick and roll, somebody was wide open. He saw them correctly, and he would give them the correct pass. Ooh, voice correct. He would give the correct pass to either Gary Harris, Paul Millsap, or MPJ. And although MPJ did terrible last game, he only scored. Well, he doesn't really get the ball that much. In 14 minutes, he got in 14 minutes he got 2 points and 7 rebounds. But he's a promising defender.
I feel like Jokic is Jokic the best passing center you've seen ever.
He's the
He's
best.
up there at the bare
I
minimum.
would say right next to Hakeem Olajuwon, he's right there.
I think he's the best numerical passing center. I think he's from what I've seen. I think he passes better than most guards, which is ridiculous to think about. Like you can't possibly think that of a center. Like I feel like I myself am a really good passer, and I feel like I'm pass better than the majority of the guards because I'm selfless. I think I see the exact same thing with Jokic. He's so selfless. Yes, he can get like 20, 30 points every game if he really wants to, but he doesn't want to do that. He'd rather do what it takes to win. Like
He's a better passer than
involving
Jamal.
players and getting players to score is like one of the best things, you can do. You know, I can speak on testimony as a person who doesn't get the ball. I think Matthew can testify to that. I think Matthew and you remember in PE whenever it's like you, Asan, and Nate and myself on the same team, I would barely touch the ball, but I get like double-digit assists because all I do was just pass to where you guys were gonna go.
Yeah.
They're like I'm not a ball handler. I don't think Jokic is a ball handler. He's a ball passer, if that makes sense.
He has that court vision. He has that
Yeah.
vision where he can catch anybody wide open, and he'll do it so surprisingly and unpredictable. One of the plays I saw was him passing it to Gary Harris, and it was so obvious that Paul Millsap was going to go cut, and that's where Patrick Beverley's defensive mind comes in. He sees Paul Millsap wide open going in for the cut. He goes towards him, but everybody's attention isn't towards Gary Harris, who's right next to him. And then, although Kawhi just barely misses it, Gary Harris comes for the shot and just hits nothing but net. That's where I feel like this team has a lot. It's getting more and more experience every time they come to the playoffs. They're gonna come back stronger. They're gonna come back with more experience. And I like what Jokic said about the Clippers. The pressure's off of them. If they lose this game, so well. They did amazing. Even though trying to come back for 3-1, the pressure's all on the Clippers, and I think that's where they fumbled the ball, and they just said they just didn't have anybody that could really score for them. In the last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter, nobody scored. It was, astonishing how bad they were in those last, in not those last 7 minutes, in those first 7 minutes in the fourth quarter. Not even Kawhi nor playoff P, scored any points in the fourth quarter. It's just sad.
Dude, are we actually calling him playoff P ever again? Like, he's such a joke. The Maverick series was a joke. Like, he averaged, 15 points in that series? Like, people are roasting LeBron for his 17-point finals. Yeah, that's bad. Yes, that came in the finals. But at least, he didn't cost a literal fortune. He went there in free agency, and he also had D Wade in that, at least he had D Wade and Chris Bosh, like you can expect, if Braun averages 20, 25, they win that series every time. But if Paul George literally got dubbed himself playoff P.
No,
LeBron
but
was dubbed the
did.
king by other people and he just took it on. But he dubbed himself playoff P after one game. And then since he's done that, he's been absolutely garbage in basically every other game.
But Yeah, to LeBron's defense about that series, LeBron he was too passive. It's not that he was inconsistent, it's just he was too passive. He didn't feel so confident in himself. And that's why the next year when that's when D Wade said, "This is your team." He felt that confidence and he became the baddest man on the planet and became the best player in the world at that moment in time. And I think that's where playoff P, I don't know why I call him playoff P. That just name is so. I don't. First
It's
of all,
funny because of the scenario that he dubbed himself in and what is followed because of it. I think that's a fair assumption.
I don't. Yeah, like to be honest, Paul George gave himself like the names that do not signify him at all. He's not PG-13. He's G rated. Rated E for everybody, bro.
uh, his
Yeah,
jumper is rated E for everyone. Oh man.
yeah.
Oh
Like
man.
he's
That's
no longer rated R or
his
anything
girlfriend's
like
rated
that.
E for everyone, bro. His girlfriend's his no, his wife. His wife is rated E for
His wife,
everyone.
he's married to a stripper, which is, kind of ironic. Sweet Lou as well fell into that
And he like
habit.
divorced Doc Rivers' girl, or he broke up with Doc Rivers' girlfriend because he got the stripper pregnant. Oh my god, there's
No,
so
Doc
much.
Rivers' daughter.
Yeah, there's so much to decipher with that.
And it's kind
Imagine
of
the pitch.
funny how, sorry, go.
Imagine the pitch Doc Rivers had to make. You know how much pride he would have had to swallow to just say, "Hey, yo, I want you on this team."
He said, "Oh, fine. I guess we'll win a championship together." And that's why I found it so funny when it's not Steph Curry, Seth Curry was going off on them during the playoffs because he's married to Paul
Yeah.
George's ex fiance, which kind of ironic.
It's funny.
So I guess that's
Oh
where he
man.
channeled that anger. And
Yo, did you
hold up,
see? Speaking of
sorry, go.
NBA players going off, did you see Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum just roasting the Clippers? Yeah,
Holy
CJ's.
crap,
I'll read this out for people who didn't see it.
bro!
CJ's tweet was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen
Let
on
me
the
pull it
NBA
up.
Twitter. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, did they actually just post it?" I looked on Twitter, and my last tweet before I finished this last, they did vote. They didn't ain't want to play no more, but I didn't think they were gonna go out like that. It's like,
Bro, no, seriously, like like I said, this is more of a Clippers problem because
and then
remember,
I saw this. It ain't Pat Bev's fault though. He got above his average and did his job. It's like, oh my. It said Dame Lillard tweeted at Patrick Beverly. I guess I should exchange this Cancun invite since I haven't made any arrangements yet. Because he said Cancun on three on his Instagram
Patrick
post, and then Paul
Beverly
George,
actually did
of
pretty
all
deep.
people, the absolute nonce. He said, and you getting so sent home this year, respect. And Dame Lillard, of course, responded during that, said, keep switching teams, running from the grind. Your boy is chump. But it's like, dude, like they straight up, deserve the Clippers straight up clown themselves.
Let's
Like
be
Kawhi
honest,
Leonard,
like
I feel like Kawhi Leonard doesn't really care. But like Paul George saying that, we didn't feel that this was a championship year. We always have next year, or it's like some garbage like that. It's like, bro, just shut up. Like you've clowned yourself enough this in your lifetime. Just shut up for once in your life. It's like same with Patrick Beverly. It's like, bro, like can y'all just shut up and just take this L?
if
Like Kawhi Leonard, I don't think he cares what the media thinks. Like he doesn't care what his teammates think, honestly. Like, he's just gonna be him, like
he's Kawhi, yeah, he's
yeah,
the
he's
term
Kawhi,
leader.
but it's like Paul George and Patrick Beverly, y'all need to just shut up. Same with Marcus Morris. Like they just need to shut up.
They're a
Like
bunch
dude,
of bullies, bro. They're a bunch of bullies, and same with Montrezl Harrell when he called Doncic a B
overrated
word.
white boy or something like
Yeah,
that.
an overrated white boy. And I was like, dude, why even go there? It's just a game of basketball. Nobody is taking it that serious. And although he did apologize the next game, that's where it kind of shows that the Clippers are more of filled with bully personalities. They're not really there to like they're not I don't feel like they're taking basketball too seriously. And that's why when it came to the assumption of trying to quit the NBA season, they were the ones that said let's not do it, like let's not play. They needed to Chris Broussard said this, like they needed an attitude check, man. They needed like to see like, yo, if you guys really want this, you guys gotta like fix up your attitudes because it's not gonna work around like this. If you want something, you gotta work hard for it. And I guess that's where it separates them from like someone like maybe LeBron or Michael Jordan. They take the regular regular season seriously, and
I mean, yeah, they take the regular season. It's not like they don't take it like it's the playoffs. Obviously, like there's different levels to the regular season and
but
the
they
playoffs.
were
But yeah, I get
lazy,
your point.
man.
I get your like for the people who don't get to the point. Regular season still matters, obviously, especially when it comes to home court. When it was like Clippers, Lakers, if the like if the season hadn't gotten interrupted, I think that they both would have taken it fully seriously. Because I think that oh well, not Clippers and Lakers, Clippers and Nuggets. They would both would have taken it fully seriously because in the case that you run against them, you don't want to have that to face them. But it's like the regular season isn't as important as the postseason, but it's still important. I think LeBron and Michael Jordan and Kobe, they all treated it as such, and the Clippers treated it as like there's a fine difference between load management and not taking the regular season seriously, and then not taking and taking the regular season too seriously. So like the Bucks versus
Oh yeah,
there's
yeah.
like a fine line between each of the Bucks, the Lakers, and the
Yeah,
Clippers.
that's a very valid point. I think that's where you hit it on the dot. Like the Bucks took it way too seriously, where they didn't even notice what kind of competition they were running up against. They didn't even make any adjustments in the playoffs. They I mean, yeah, Giannis had a couple jumpers here and there. He does not have a reliable shot. Get a post game, man. Don't just spin and dunk it all and do your Euro step. That's not creative. It's very predictable, and that's how they shut you down.
I
You
mean, I
know.
think that it still works, obviously. Like a bad series for him is still averaging 22 points and getting like 11 boards. Like that's a bad series. But like it's obviously not. It's how you take that him shooting
But the
30%
thing is,
and
yeah,
having the rest of the team beat you, than having him go off for like 30 points like in the regular season, getting 15 plus boards, getting like 5 assists and stuff like that. Like I think that the Lakers are the perfectly run organization of the. I thought it would be the Clippers, but apparently it's the Lakers. Like they had the chemistry. I remember I always said the Lakers have always had the chemistry over the Clippers, but the Clippers have the talent, like top to bottom.
hmm
I think that this is finally
they're
showing.
very deep. They're extremely, extremely deep. Like if you look back on their players, these are players that their bench could be a starting lineup for a couple teams
Well, you
and make
talking about the Lakers? You talking about the Clippers?
Clippers, Clippers.
Yeah, honestly, like Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams are starting center and point guard level. Like they were last year for the team. Same with Shamit. Like he started last year. Like these are all players who can start. Maybe not like top level
Yeah, Michael
organizations. Like
Green, Reggie Jackson was a starter for the Pistons.
yeah,
You
like
know,
like this team is yeah they
Patrick
have a
Patterson was a
squad.
starter
This
for
team has
OKC
the
last
chemistry.
year. It
Yeah,
just shows, how Marcus Morris was a starter as well for the New York Knicks, and it kind of shows like this team needs to fix up, and I guess this is where like we're gonna see Kawhi come up next big, or maybe the Clippers team. This is what's gonna make it exciting for next year because I feel like they're gonna come up even stronger and become more powerful. But if they don't, dude, they gotta rebuild. Like
with nothing basically. Yeah,
yeah,
like
they gotta rebuild again.
yeah, and I think that, hell, what was I going to say? I think that's going to be way harder next year than it's going to be this year because of the fact that people are forgetting about the Warriors and the fact that they have the number 2 pick that they can trade for whatever the hell they want, or they
Yeah,
can pick
Andrew
whatever the
Wiggins,
hell they
number
want.
2 pick. They
And
got the
Andrew Wiggins, and Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, and Steph Curry. Like people forget about the Warriors. The Warriors are still a threat. They just weren't a threat this year because everyone was injured to shit. Like I feel like the Clippers, if they don't win next year, it's going to be classified as one of the biggest failures ever. Because like even though that they can
Clippers
go over the
first.
luxury tax all they want because of their owner, like they really can't do anything with their future because they trade. It's like the Nets and the Celtics. You remember a while ago when the Nets acquired Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and tried to win now? This
Oh
is
my
exactly
gosh.
the scenario. The Clippers are going to be like the garbage team for like ages because they ruined their future. Like the Nets ruined their future, but they got it back slowly but steadily. I think
It
that the
took a
Clippers can
very
do it.
long process.
Yeah, I think the Clippers can do it, but I think that they're gonna have to run it all back. Like this is probably I don't know if this is a bigger
They have
stain.
2 years left. They have 2 years left, and if they don't make it, they're gone. Like
I
that.
think
That's it.
this is a good question. Do you think that this is a bigger stain on the Clippers history than the Lob City 3-1 lead to the Rockets? Or is this one the bigger stain?
Uh, I would say this one's a bigger stain because, dude, they were the title favorites. They were supposed to win it all. And the Lob City Clippers, the thing with that, they were missing a couple pieces. They were missing a small forward, but even at that, losing to the Houston Rockets with
Josh Smith specifically.
Josh Smith, Corey Brewer, James Harden, an old ass
Jason Terry.
Jerry, Jason Terry, like dude, and then a Dwight Howard led Houston Rockets team. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and
They
Dwight Howard and James Harden didn't even play much in the fourth quarter. Like they didn't. They scored like 8 points in the fourth quarter. It was literally Josh Smith who went off.
Josh Smith, out of all people,
Yeah,
decided to go off. That- and now Josh Smith is gone from the NBA. R.I.P. Uh,
he's not
but
dead for you guys wondering at home. He's not dead. He's just retiring.
no,
Yeah,
not even. He got waived. He's still getting paid to this year by the
yeah.
Detroit Pistons. He got waived badly. But yeah, I would say this one because we had so much expectations. Literally, there were so many talk shows talking about, bro, LeBron versus Kawhi. We're waiting for that. That's going to be the next level, and then just for it to fall down because
I mean,
they didn't want to try.
I know you said this. You said Kawhi is overrated. I think he was overrated in the fact that he was compared all time to LeBron.
He was
I
compared to
think
Michael
he's I
Jordan.
think he's still a top three player in the NBA. I think regardless of the series, I think he's still a top three player. I think the top three still remain right
Top
now
three.
as
I'll
we
give him
speak.
top three.
LeBron, Giannis, Kawhi. I will put Kawhi a little bit over Giannis because he's a little bit, he's actually
Uh,
done something
I
in his
would
career.
still put Kevin Durant over Kawhi just by the fact that, let's just say, well,
I
let's
mean,
not
like
say right now
right now. I
because
said right now. I said right now. Like because we don't know KD ever is going to come back. I think yes, KD at his best is the second best player in the league, and he will always be the second best player in the league. And it's a damn shame that he's never going to be looked at as the number one player in the league because he came across a guy who was
whoa,
considered the
when
GOAT.
KD in 2014, he was the best player in the league.
I mean, that was no, like he's never going to be considered better than LeBron. Though. Like he was the best player
Oh
in the
no,
league,
no,
but he was
no.
never better than
It
LeBron.
thing is with KD, and I guess this could be jumping into a different discussion. KD will never ever his legacy is tainted. Like he will never ever
Do you
ever
think that Kawhi, if Kawhi wins another championship, he'll jump KD all time?
just because of that championship last year alone, he kind of did.
I
People
think he's
still
at the level right now. I obviously like KD is literally something we've
they're,
never
yeah,
seen
they're
before.
they're kind of the same if
Yeah,
you
like
really
Kawhi
think about
Leonard's obviously is way, way more respected because he did it the way he did it. He didn't, go out of his way to get on the super team and take the easy road.
it.
Like he literally went through everything he could have possibly done. That's 2019 ring is probably one of the most impressive rings. I think it is the most impressive ring considering how badly it could have gone
I
wrong.
still have 2011 Dirk's ring higher. I feel like Dirk's ring is a
I think
lot
his
more
is the better
respected.
run in terms of teams. I think Kawhi's was the most impressive, and LeBron's was the most carried. Like LeBron carried more than both of those two. Like Dirk's team still was a 3 seed. Like they never had championship
He was the
aspirations
only
per
All
se.
Star on that team. That's the thing.
Yeah, like no one looked at the Mavericks, but they still had a squad, relatively speaking. They just weren't looked at as the championship favorites because there were two or three other monster teams in their conference. Like
But
it's
remember,
the same
like
with the Raptors. No one, like everyone thought that they could do something if they got hot, and which they did. But like no one actually said, "Yo, Raptors to the championship." It was always the Bucks and the Warriors. Like I think that's really the reason. And with LeBron, no one like people were saying that they would lose to the 76ers and the Celtics. So I think that his is the most carried because like I don't think anyone else in the league right now carries them to as far as he did. Oh man,
but if
that voice crack! Did you hear that voice crack?
yeah, yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ!
you're good. You're good.
I
Don't
think
worry
that
about it.
Dirks is the most important for his legacy. I think
hmm
Kawhi's is the most impressive.
Like I feel like we wouldn't talk about Dirk as a top. I would say like top 30 player if it wasn't for that one championship run
Yeah,
where
I
he
think
just
that
went off.
I think that that is similar. Like AI, I've said this before. People say AI has a ring. No, he doesn't. He never had a ring. But that game one against the Lakers, that is probably the equivalent of a ring, considering all things considered, the circumstances that he had to get it in. Going in LA, they hadn't lost, and that would be their only loss. For those of you who don't know, that was their only loss in the postseason.
There's still some people that would take AI over Kobe, and
I mean, that's a little bit too far. I mean,
no,
like
no, no,
AI is
not
not AI
sorry.
is probably one of the best to watch. He's probably the GOAT person to watch. Like he's just so entertaining. Someone being like I'm taller than AI, you're taller than AI. Like,
No, no,
like
no.
it's
Let's just
very
say this.
entertaining to see someone like that go off in the NBA for like 30 points and carry his team over and over. but like he's not better than Kobe. Like
How
I said,
about this discussion? Like, some people would take him over Clyde Drexler.
for style, yeah, for sure. Like AI has his own style, but in terms of
I'm trying to
actual
name
ability,
a
let's just
shooting
put it
guard
like
that
this.
won a championship that
This
we.
is how I put that. It's the same with Larry Bird and LeBron James. I put this like this, right? Which one? Who was considered a threat by Michael Jordan? AI or Clyde Drexler at the peak of their power? Who do you think that he would rather play? AI every time. Like AI crossed them, yeah, sure, but like in the Last Dance, he literally called Drexler a threat. Like that is as good as the praise as you could. That's like calling him like a goat, basically. Like people joke around, like people joke around and saying like, "Oh man, he's just a worse Michael Jordan." He really was just a worse Michael Jordan. Like
I wouldn't say
he's so
worse Michael
similar.
Jordan. I would just say a lesser favorable Michael Jordan.
He's
Because
literally like a B team.
worse
He's
is
like
too much.
Jordan is Gucci, and then oh no, actually no, Jordan is iPhone, and then Clyde Drexler is Android. Like still solid and still good, and doesn't deserve the hate he gets, but definitely not as good. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
AI was like his own. He's like a
LeBron's like
AI
Samsung.
is like Google. Like he's just his own style. You know, he's
Yeah,
just built different.
he's very stylish. He's very good looking, but not everyone's gonna take that.
Hey, wait, sus a little bit. Whatever, whatever. We move.
Wait, what did I say?
You said he's a little bit. You said he's good looking. That's a little sus.
No, no, no. I meant like as in your good, as in your Google analysis. And to be honest, like if you really look at AI, he kind of made the NBA more hip. But other than that, like he was more influential rather than his legacy.
Yeah, but I think his legacy is saved by that game one, and I think Dirk's is saved by his ring. You know,
Can we make a discussion for Kyrie Irving and how
yeah,
toxic he was to the Boston Celtics?
the
It just
suck my dick Celtics. Yeah, they're like the 2020 Clippers, but just earlier. Super toxic. They even had one of the Morris brothers.
literally, I guess it kind of shows Marcus Morris is kind of,
Yeah.
pretty toxic.
Wait. For those of you guys who are wondering what I'm talking about when I say the suck my dick Celtics, what a fan was heckling Kyrie as he was coming out and said, "Kyrie, where's LeBron?" He said, "Suck my dick." The guy had it on camera. And
They
I'll see
asked him on
you talk about it. You talk about the Celtics. I'll see if I can find the. It shouldn't be hard, but like
no,
yeah,
like it was so funny. They asked him on ESPN, like, "Why'd you say that?" And he said, "Well, he pissed me off." And I was like, "Whoa!" Like, I could see Kyrie being a player that would retire early just by how he has this like cloud level where he just brings a team down just by his toxicity. Him and Kevin Durant are beautifully matched together
Yeah, I
because
found the video. I found the
uh,
video. Yeah, I found
yeah.
the video. Let me turn this up.
Bro, I swear, man.
Wait, did you hear that well? I don't know. Did you hear that well?
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's like the same thing with LeBron. That's like similar to you remember whenever someone said, "Hey, yo, LeBron, where's Kyrie at your mama's house?" It's like that's like the same vibes with that. Same with we're gonna have to get back really quickly to the Nuggets because like we gotta
I
do. We
remember
gotta
when
talk about
LeBron
this.
was called a bitch by a lady. Said, "LeBron, you're such a pussy ass bitch."
And
Like
he turned around and was like, "What?"
he was like, "What?"
Yeah,
And then the security guard, "Hey, watch your mouth, woman." That was the best part.
yeah. Like who is it? I remember. Was it Mario Chalmers, the guy who got yelled at over and over by the big three? He even had a
Yeah.
podcast episode, right? And he said that LeBron's trigger word isn't like F, or it isn't like fuck or N word. I'm not gonna say it on camera. Like I'm not. It's 2020. It wasn't like anything like that. It wasn't anything like calling him a pussy. It
Nick
was
Hobbs
literally
canceled
calling him a
2020.
bitch. He was like LeBron never says the word bitch. If you say the word bitch in front of LeBron, get ready to get like smoked.
Draymond Green. After
Yeah,
Draymond Green said that, that was when it was over.
yeah. It's like the picture with like him in the headphones. That's Jamal. The picture I showed at the start, that was based off like that was the same vibes. You know, like I swear
Remember,
that was the same vibes.
remember when LeBron or Clay Thompson said, "I guess he got his feelings hurt."
He's laughing.
LeBron,
He's
like
like,
after
oh
that, he
no.
just had that death laugh, and then after that, it was all downhill for Golden State.
Yeah. Like
Clay
there's
Thompson ruined it.
there's so many meme moments in the NBA. I think my favorite will always be the Kawhi Leonard laugh because it's just so funny to hear him
Mhm.
laugh. Man, I'm gonna pull it up really quick. I know I played it on this
You gotta
podcast
get a
before.
soundboard.
Yeah, I definitely need a soundboard. But yeah, yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, Clay Thompson
What would you
saying
like
like,
people to know about you? Uh, I'm a fun guy. Uh, Obviously, I love the game of basketball. Uh, I mean, it's just more questions you have to ask me in order for me to tell you about myself. I just can't give you a whole spiel. I don't even know where you're sitting at.
word, man, that laugh is just
That's so funny. But anyhow, okay. I think we need to get on to bigger and better things. I mean, we'll
we can
talk
talk
about the
about the
East Finals
matchups.
last since they have the Celtics. We'll go back to the Celtics really quickly after that. But I think we need to talk about Rockets Lakers.
Oh,
Can I
dude,
speak first about this? I remember I messaged Mitra. For those of you who don't want to, Mitra was the guest on the last episode and a couple episodes before that. I messaged him right after that. I said this Rockets team is a joke. This is an absolute disgrace to the game of basketball that they think that they're the shit every time. I think that I said that they're never going to win a championship with Harden and Westbrook. I think they need to trade both. I said that. Here,
trade both. I wouldn't say both.
let me read off what I said. I said, I remember I made this exact comparison. It was 20. You remember the Raptors before they got Kawhi versus after they got Kawhi? I think it's the same situation. I think that DeMar DeRozan is like the same situation as James Harden, a very loyal person to the city and one of the best players in the franchise history, you know, very important to the team day in, day out, but just doesn't have the mentality, doesn't have the ability to just take them to the next level. And then once they traded him for someone who could, then they got to that next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say
Let me read off what I message. This is gonna take a second. Give me a sec. If you want to do your bit really quick, then you can.
Oh yeah, one of the things that pissed me off about James Harden was during the 2017 postseason run when we went against the Spurs and we got completely killed by them without Tony Parker, without Kawhi, and the thing that James Harden did after the game, and this is where I found out like this guy doesn't really have that mentality. Is after he lost that game, he went to go to the strip club, the local strip club in San like
Yeah, and then
dude.
24 hours after losing to the Rockets, he was found at like a bar. It's like, bro, like don't do it. And let me read off what I said. I said it'll honestly never be the Rockets year until they get rid of Harden and Westbrook. They'll never win a title with either of them. Harden doesn't have the mentality. He'll never accomplish anything other than regular season. He's so weak mentally. He's pathetic. This whole franchise, other than Covington and Tucker, doesn't want to win. I said 2 years
Mm,
ago, trade Harden. I said 2 years ago, I remember I've mentioned this before. I said trade Harden because he's never going to give you that title that you want him to be, even though he's a title level player. Like let's be honest, like at his day, he's probably like top 5 player in the NBA, or at least top 10, bare minimum. Like I said, he doesn't have the mentality and get someone who does. Kawhi Leonard. Yes, this changes now, obviously, but he still has a mentality. Like Kawhi Leonard still definitely wants to win. He's not going to let other people, derail his mind. Like he's not like Paul George where he'll go into the depression state because the media is roasting him. Like Harden doesn't.
yeah.
Harden clearly heard about people saying his defense sucks, and he got triggered over that. Because like him being that
He
hyped,
got
that
better.
wasn't him
He
being
got
hyped about
better.
making a play. It was about him being hyped because he knew he finally made a stop. I said it doesn't matter how much he's improved, he still ain't doing shit. It's all on the players. It'll never be on. It should never be considered to be on D'Antoni. Yes, D'Antoni is the one with only 3 system, but I said that he kind of screwed them in the paper. At the same time, the Rockets had the personnel to do what they want to do. And when they played the Warriors, it showed that D'Antoni's style can clearly work. It flummoxed the best team that we've ever seen in the NBA's history in terms of talent-wise. You
Mm.
can argue otherwise. I said that they fucked it up because the players choked. They had 2 15-point leads without Chris Paul. That's not on D'Antoni for blowing those leads. That's all on the players. You missed 27 straight threes. That's your fault. He said, and then the next year, Curry had 0 points at halftime in Game 6, in the game that the Rockets
Oh,
clearly should have
bro,
won.
you're giving me PTSD, man.
I said, he said they should have won. Katie went out. They should have won Game 5. They should have won Game 6.
You know I was at that game, right?
Huh?
You know I was at that game.
Wait, Game 6? Oh man, that was
Yeah,
oh.
when like I was so happy. I was like, Curry got no points in this like first half. Let's
I was like,
go.
I remember I told my mom, I was like, yo, you seen this? Curry has 0 points. She's like, wow, really? I was like, if the Rockets don't get ahead really, really quickly, they're gonna lose this game and like heartbreaking. Like Curry's gonna go off for like 30 points in the second half. It's just gonna happen. It's like they got to get up before he does that. It said they couldn't win any of the games. The ones without KD, obviously, the one where Curry had 0 points, two 15-point leads without Chris Paul, which obviously you would have helped in that scenario. But like come on, like you can still get that job done. You know,
I think
they said
that's where
this Rockets team is a joke. This franchise is a joke. This organization is a joke. Like I see your side because he was saying that CP3 was doing stuff that was against the Rocket system, and it's like the only reason that they were in those positions was because of CP3, even though he was
yeah.
working against the
Mhm.
system. I said I could see your side 100%, but the Rockets have all the potential in the world. They have the personnel to suit D'Antoni. They have everything. They're just weak mentally. They don't have the mentality or the person to show them how to get that mentality, i.e., Kobe, LeBron, you know,
And they can't.
Giannis even. Giannis
One,
even like Giannis will still run through that brick wall at whatever it
no, no,
takes.
no,
I said,
no.
I
That's
said
where
like
I
that.
have to
He
stop
wants to
you.
win. I said he want like players who want to win. Like Harden doesn't care. Like yes, obviously Harden cares about winning, but like he'd rather take his like MVPs and
Harden's
stuff.
had playoff moments where he showed up. I
Like
think
Jimmy
you're going a
Butler,
little
Kawhi
too
Leonard,
extreme on that,
Jimmy.
like saying that this is kind of like the Giannis situation, because there's been like moments where Harden has shined, and even during our elimination game with the Lakers, Harden had 30 points on 60% on field goal shooting. Harden, he can show up. That's when he had that game-saving block on Dort when he was going off during that game.
But like
Harden,
you
sorry, go.
get my point though. Like with the players that want, like Giannis clearly wants to win. He's not like it's not like he doesn't want to win. He clearly wants to do whatever it takes to get the Bucks
He
championship.
Yeah, and I say the same thing for Harden. It's just the only difference with them. I feel like it's more of the system rather than Harden. Harden is more of a symptom of what it is. Obviously, Daryl. Ooh, voice crack.
Jesus Christ, the voice crack
Again,
episode.
yeah. Obviously, Daryl Morey is a really, really, really big factor when it comes to how he's extreme analytics. There's a reason why Daryl Morey would do some kind of trade for Russell Westbrook and essentially, I guess, give away what we had left for Russell Westbrook, which was probably the dumbest idea ever, because how are we going to trade him now? Everybody just saw him for who he was. And like, dude, like it pisses me off because if you really look back for the last 3 years, Westbrook always leaves the game talking smack to someone else. It was for those racist comments when that guy had his camera in front of him. Westbrook snatched at him. And then
Yelling at the babies in the bubble. Like he said, what the fuck are they talking about? He's like, put some respect on my name. It's like, or something like that. It's
okay,
like, and he's
that
yelling at the
that was
baby.
funny.
He's
That was
yelling at the
funny,
family section, bro. Like, I get it's
bro.
Rondo's brother, but Jesus Christ, man. And then he's like, whenever he scored like his 10th point, he's like, yeah, let's go. And then they're
You,
down
you
by like
gotta like
40
he said
points.
you gotta double me. I'm like, dude, you're down. Like there was like this comment saying like, dude, you're down like 1,000 points. Why the hell are you flexing? Like Westbrook, dude. If I ever like wanted to bitch slap an NBA player, it'd probably be Westbrook, because like,
I mean, you
dude,
kick your ass in a second for doing that. Like, let's be honest. We're not picking a fight with Westbrook. It's not a good idea. Dude's like
no.
6'5",
Okay,
and
look.
like,
If I
he's
could slap
100%
him
the
and like he couldn't do anything to me, then I would do it. But
Look, anyhow, I said that Harden's style won't win a championship because hero ball sucks. He said, look at what happened. I said, look what happened with Toronto before having Kawhi versus after. He said, before, LeBronto, always a disappointment, can never take a next step, but always had a solid team. Could match up with anyone, could beat anyone on their day, but we're always weak mentally against LeBron and weak mentally whenever it mattered most. I said, what happened after the Kawhi Leonard trade? They got rid of the major issue in the mentality in DeMar DeRozan. They replaced a loyal knight. They replaced the loyal knight. They valued winning over loyalty. They got the person who knew exactly what it took, who had done it before. He said who was willing to give up the regular season, relatively speaking. Like the Raptors still got the 2 seed. I think people forget that they still had the 2 seed. He said
no,
who
but thing
constantly
is
put his
like,
team on his back and dug them out of sticky situations whenever he needed to. Who didn't get hyped up after insane plays other than the Game 7 play. I put understandable because like who would not be hyped up out of the series winning buzzer beater in Game 7 in front of your home
bro,
crowd?
when Kawhi
Off
got
your back
hyped up
foot
during
yelling
that.
Kobe. It's like he did whatever it took to will his team over the line mentally, physically, offensively, and defensively. And what happened? He got it done. The monster changed the team, and now look at him. When he left, he had shown them the way. The series of the Celtics is the perfect example of the change. He said in normal circumstances, they would have folded like before. It would have become LeBron again. They would have folded like a chair. And when they got hammered in game 5, they would have done so again in previous years. What happened? They fought back with all they had. And although they didn't win, they showed that they had the remnants of a championship DNA. Kawhi showed them the way. They carried the torch throughout the next year. Yeah, like exactly. Like Kawhi showed them the way. They carried that torch through the next year and showed their medal. They showed that they have a different mentality for good. They are no longer LeBron. They are Toronto. They are a warrior team. This Rockets team is exactly like LeBron Toronto. And they even have a DeRozan level player or a DeRozan type player, someone who is great, a team player, but not mentally strong enough. Doesn't have that, like, I'm going to take it personal and drop 35 points, 10 boards, and lock up your best player and do whatever it takes to win player. You know, like, it's like Kawhi Leonard, let's be honest, did take a lot of things personal in that 2019 playoffs. You know, same with LeBron, you know, in the previous one. I said Harden is one of the best players in the league, bare minimum top 10. Like, even if you hate
But
them.
I feel like that's where I'm telling you, like, Kawhi Leonard's overrated. And towards the count where, like, yes, he did take it personal and he did show up in the moments bright, but he also had flaws during that one postseason, dude. Like,
But that was more on the team. That was more on Toronto than it was on Kawhi, because even then, like, whenever he wasn't getting 30 points, the team, it felt like, was just like looking at Kawhi whenever they needed the bucket. Same with the Rockets, but like, there's a difference between like Harden's step back is still the most unguardable play in in the league, other than Giannis or LeBron going up for a dunk. Like, let's be honest, like that those three players are like the highest level. Like Kawhi, Harden's step back is probably one of the most iconic moves ever. But it's like, I said the Rockets will never accomplish anything with him other than home court advantage and MVPs, because they don't have that mentality. Like the Warriors, like the Raptors, hell, like LeBron himself in the Lakers right now. He said they need a player to show them what it takes to win a championship, like Jimmy Butler. I said that would be perfect, because what he's doing to win a title with Miami. I remember there was a story. It's like Tyler Hero was like, "Hey, yo, Jimmy, do you want to practice?" He's like, "Yeah, let's do it at 3." And he arrived at 3 p.m. and Jimmy wasn't there. He's like, "Yeah, yo, Jimmy, where you at?" It's like, "I'm at 3 a.m., bro. What do you want me to do? You're supposed to want to win a championship. Do the early work to do it." It's like, that's what Harden is not doing. Like, come on. Harden is not calling up the rookies and saying, "Hey, yo, let's go at 3 a.m. and ball out,"
Well, I wouldn't say 3 a.m., but Harden does practice. Look,
yeah, like, obviously. But, like,
hold on. I am going to get on Harden for his lack of Kobe mentality, and he has a lot of moments where he does not show up during the postseason. He is a seasonal player, but he has had moments where he shined.
But it's not enough. Like Curry, he shines enough. KD, he shines enough. LeBron shines enough. Like, I know you were gonna say Curry in the finals, but like at the end of the day, he still scores 27 to 28 points.
With Curry, they had so much talent. Like, he had a lot of leverage.
2015 Warriors and 2016 Warriors, he still averaged 27 points between the two finals. Like, that's not bad. Like, Harden in the Thunder series, he was averaging like 20, if that. Like, that's really, really bad. Like, if you're a top 10 scorer or top 5 scorer in the NBA and you're a top 10 player, bare minimum, you should be averaging at least 25 every game. Like AD, look at AD. That's a perfect example of what consistency needs to be. Like, people are just like, I'm looking at his stats. It's like, hey, yo, what is it? AD's not doing anything. He still left 20 points and like 15 boards and like 5 assists with like 4 blocks. Like, that's consistency. Like, that's a terrible game for AD. Like, that's what I mean. Like, with Harden, his terrible game is literally like shooting 2 of 18 from the field and hitting 20 free throws. Like, that's Harden's bad game. Like, he'll still have 25, 26, 27 points. Yeah. But like 20 points will be from the free throw line. Like, there was a game against the Jazz.
I feel like you're kind of getting on Harden a little too much. I think it's Harden. Yeah, no, but hold on. Harden, yes, he should take the blame for some of the derived. But here's the thing: like, it's more the Houston Rockets as a whole and Daryl Morey as well. That yes, Harden is, he is a one-dimensional player where, like, just give him the ball, here, do something with the dribble for like 20 minutes. I mean, not 20 minutes. For
20 like seconds of the 24 shot clock. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then, like, just, do a step back 3. Yes, but that's where I feel like it's more of the system that gave him that kind of situation, and we shouldn't really blame Harden so much because he took upon that role. He succeeded. He exceeded between that in the season, not in the postseason as much, but I don't know what to say.
But
Like
like
that's
Kobe
just
said
how
it best though. That hero ball can never win because the defense can key on that. There's a difference between a regular season defense and postseason defense. Like Kobe put it best. Like if you're away from the key, the defense can just keep look for that to know that you're just going to shoot threes, and it's like
well,
it becomes very
before
easy to defend very quickly. You
Well,
know,
before Kobe passed away, he even said, this Houston Rockets team is not a championship level team. The how the way they play games, it's not made for championships. It's made for
exactly.
highlights. It's made for seasonal record breaking. I mean, season record blah, blah, for
Record
record
breaking
breaking
season stats.
games. Yeah, like I hear stat with Harden, having the highest point triple double. That's amazing. But dude, if you can't land on that during this postseason, like if let's imagine if Harden did what he did from the season to the postseason,
He's
that's
looked
just
at as an all-time player, honestly. Like if he does, like he's looked at as an all-time regular season player. Like, that's not even disputed. Like he's been in the conversation for the MVP for what, like 5 years, 6 years now. Like
Mhm.
he's legitimately been an MVP level player for like 5, 6 years. You
I,
know,
I I
and in
would
that,
see him.
but like he's
Sorry,
never stepped up to that level in the postseason.
I would
You
see
know,
his. Yeah, I would see him in the same light as Tracy McGrady in Orlando and AI. Like those players that are really really good in the season, but they just never really had that moment where like they got their chance to succeed. Tracy McGrady, the one thing I want to talk about him is like, remember when he was in Orlando and he had a 3-1 lead over the Detroit Pistons, and he even said like, uh, it feels good to get out of the second round, and after that,
I
the
mean, to be
Detroit
fair
Pistons
though, he
lost.
didn't have anyone in Orlando. Like same with AI. Like Harden as a team literally specifically built around his style of play. Like him and Westbrook style play are built. This team is built around. I think the majority right now will fall on Harden because he is the better player than him and Westbrook. Like, come on, like if you're arguing that,
No, but it should be the system. It shouldn't really be
I don't think.
directly.
I think that in order for the Rockets to actually succeed, they need to get rid of one or both. I'm saying both because like
They
you can
need
get
no. What I'm
Harden's
saying,
never gonna have a better, higher value asset than right now. Like if you
yeah,
can get the Bucks, they're looking at trading Connaughton, Bledsoe, and then Brooke Lopez, which is
for
perfect for the
Harden.
system. Like Brooke Lopez is a big who can actually rebound. He's actually a big person, but he can shoot. And then like I said that DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, and then like a couple Suns picks for like James Harden. I was like, that's a perfect trade for the Rockets right now. Because they still have a big man, but they have a big man that can shoot. And they have a Devin Booker player who is similar to Harden in style,
Yeah, you
at the
know
bare
what?
minimum.
What I think we should really go, and maybe that's where like maybe we should hit the brakes a little bit. At first, I was like, okay, that's enough. We got to rebuild. Like we got to trade Russell Westbrook and Harden because their value is never going to be as high. If not, it's going to get lower. Westbrook is getting older. Harden is, yeah, he's going to be phenomenal, but like let's be honest, we're not going to go anywhere with this team. We don't really have that many assets. We're giving we're giving Eric Gordon way too much money. PJ Tucker's old as shit. Robert Covington he's probably one of our highest valued players. Um, Austin Rivers, yeah, veterans minimum. Same with Ben McLemore, but I mean, there's only so much that they can give you. What I'm saying is that maybe trading Russell Westbrook for towards the Sixers for a Joel Embiid with an Eric Gordon, maybe we could get something out of that and hopefully make a run with Joel Embiid and Harden. But I don't see much going out of that. Uh, I don't know, man. This Rockets team is really in trouble when it comes to their future, and I feel like their first move, what they should do, is fire Daryl Morey for not only costing the NBA so much money for those China comments.
But also being an absolute noob when it comes to the body of a woman. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if you watch Game of Zones, if you get that reference. You remember the metric thingy? The where Mello is like at Houston and they made a Game of Zones episode where he's like looking at the model. That's what they called it. The model. He said, "Why does it have three boobs?" It was designed by people with no experience with women, and it showed like the designed by Daryl Morey. I was like, anyhow. But like, what do you think of my idea? I think that trading Yeah, Harden for Booker and Aiden, or Westbrook for Connaughton, Bledsoe, and Brooke Lopez would be better for the Rockets than actually having
I
both
would
of
say
them.
trade for just picks, man. Go trade Westbrook back to OKC and get some picks back. Nah,
They're
nah.
not gonna do. They're not gonna take him back. Like he was the best player for OKC, and he wasn't on there anymore. Like that's how bad he was. Like this is the worst postseason that I've ever seen from a player considered to
No,
be a
what
star.
I do have to say about Russell Westbrook, he is the most like if we want to talk about something that ruins things so special and so glamorizing, like dude, if you look back and see what kind of talent Russell Westbrook has played with and how much level of achievements he's gotten over, this is his first time he's ever made the past the first round.
Is it? No, it's not. Western Conference Finals
No, no,
2016.
no,
It's
no.
3-1
No,
lead.
in like 3 years, it's his
Yeah, like
first time making. Sorry, I meant to say in 3 years. This is his
yeah.
first time making it past the first round, and you know how embarrassing that is for his level type of player. This is a guy who averaged a triple double for 3 seasons, I'm guessing, and this is a player that we would say is a top 50 level player. But the fact that he just cannot succeed like that and give his team anything good, his biggest, like, uh, Legend of Winning put it best. His biggest, advantage is his biggest weakness. He's really great at being a athletic point guard, but he's a very, very bad shooter. He's probably the worst shooter in the NBA right now.
Okay, that's a little bit too far.
No, 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 no. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah,
You
you're
have
right.
Michael Kidd
I would say,
Gilchrist, bro. Like, there's different levels to. Have you seen his form recently? Like
oh,
Michael Kidd Gilchrist.
oh, and Lonzo Ball. Look, dude,
Yeah,
let me
like,
show you something about
there's worse
Lonzo
shooting
Ball.
guard. Like, I get what you mean. He's the worst shooting superstar. Is that?
Lonzo,
Yeah,
hold
Lonzo
on.
Ball has like 44 songs in Apple and 43 made free throws. Like, the man has terrible priorities. I remember I saw it. I was like, "There's no way that's true." And I looked it up. Yep,
Can,
it's true.
can we talk about Lonzo Ball being just for like a little segment? Can we talk about how Lonzo Ball is sort of a bust?
I don't think he's a bust per se because he still has every potential in the world. I just think he's more of like out of the headlines because he's not in LA anymore. Like, and
He
because his dad has actually been keeping quiet for once in his life. Yeah.
not when LaMelo gets drafted, but
Oh hell no! You know he's gonna call him the next goat. He's gonna say he's better than him,
he's
and
better than
that's gonna be high
Jordan,
praise. He's gonna have
LeBron.
all the pressure in the world when he's better than LeVar Ball. Like LeVar Ball is the best player we've ever seen. We've never seen him play, but he's the best player
Two
we've
point
ever
two
seen.
points, in high school. Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he did play for UCLA during the Wooden era, so he's got to have some ability up his sleeve. But like, I just don't know how good he actually is.
Genetics, bro. Genetics. He was a tall, strong. Well,
I mean,
okay, let's
like
go.
that is a fair statement though. Like, he still is a baller. Like, I mean, shit. I didn't mean to make that pun, but you know what I mean. Like, if he played for UCLA, if he plays for UCLA during the Wooden eras, he's got to be something. He's got to be decent.
Back to the topic of the Lonzo Ball. It's about to be his fourth year. We shouldn't put him to that standards of, hey, he's just a young buck. We just gotta wait until he starts blooming.
Yeah, he's
You
like
know,
what, 30 something?
no, whoa,
Not
Lonzo
30
Ball
something. Oh,
like
20 something,
24.
like 22, 23, 24.
Let me see, Lonzo.
I was looking at something else. Trust me. Yes, I was looking at.
Lonzo's 22, yes, but
Yeah.
he's about to turn to 23 years old next year. This man's only getting older. He's not improving. If not, he's staying pretty minimal in his stats. Yeah, he's sort of got a 3-point shot, but he's extremely inconsistent when it comes to the free throw. His shot is probably one of the worst I ever seen
I think
prior
only
to.
Michael Kidd Gilchrist can beat it for the worst form I've ever seen. Because like I've
No, but
tried to
like,
do
did
it
you
where you
see
bring
it?
it from
Like
like the hit and then you release it. It's like, dude, this is like a disgusting form. It's like
Lonzo,
Sean Marion himself and then Michael Kidd Gilchrist are all competing for like the ugliest shot
but
we've ever
thing
seen.
is with Sean Marion, he could hit those. Like
Yeah, but like it just looked really stupid.
he would grab it from his chest and just like chuck it up, and it was kind of weird.
Yeah, he would like double, it would like be like this. He would like those of you guys who can't see and are listening on Anchor or Spotify, it would be like he'd grab it out of his chest, he'd double pump it, and then he'd release it. It's like it's really really stupid. But like at least he'd hit it. Michael Kidd can never hit anything, and neither can Lonzo Ball consistent. Like Michael Kidd, I'm gonna see if I can pull a picture, but talk about Lonzo Ball for a bit, so people can.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball, like he's paired up very well with
Zion.
Zion, and I'm just not seeing any kind of improvement when it came to them. Yeah, they were injured
The
too.
number Michael Kidd isn't even like it's like it's not even like it's not even his bio or anything. It's like when is his birthday or who's he play for. The first thing you type in when you say Michael Kidd is Michael Kidd ugly shot.
Ah, bro,
Yeah, can y'all see that?
yeah,
Like what the hell
Jesus
is that?
Christ, man. Of course it
What
was
the hell
like
is that?
that. But
What the hell
anyways,
is that, man?
back to oh crap, dude, that was ugly as hell,
I
man.
know, right? That's what I mean. Like his is the ugliest looking form I've ever seen. Anyhow, continue.
Let back just the whole Pelicans in a whole, this whole season was a disappointment for them. The fact that they just were not you know the bubble was literally made for them just so they can make it to the eighth seed and make somewhat of a run. But the fact that they were just that disappointing and couldn't do anything. Adam Silver was on suicide watch. The fact that Zion couldn't
Honestly,
even make the
they were
playoffs.
just they ruined JJ Redick's streak. I mean, like they were looking good whenever Zion was actually playing, but the problem was he wasn't actually playing. You know,
Yeah, like they're. I get it. This is your LeBron level type player, but come on, man,
I
you
think
got.
he is going to be that level. At some point, he's going to be looked at as one of the best players in the league. But I just don't think it's going to happen while he's still fat. Like there's levels, bro. Like I
Yeah,
remember we all saw that picture of him being absolutely jacked. Dude, like that had to have been a PR something by his like team. He must have had that edited because he looked fat as hell whenever he got into the bubble.
bro. Yeah, like I said, people say like he looks like he walks with a bag full of quarters in his pocket. It just doesn't look right. But yeah. Uh,
This dude looks like he's trying to sneak something out of the fridge in his pocket. So going up the stairs.
bro, he gallops whenever he's running. It's just so weird.
He looks like a freaking ogre with like a club whenever he tries to walk. This guy.
Like he has like I
That
could see
pocket full of quarter one though, that's like such a great image. Because it literally looks like he has a pocket full of quarters.
I know it's too funny. Okay, all right. Let's skip all that and go straight into the Giannis going to another team talk.
Oh my god.
Heavily
Is
favored
this first of all, is this a weak move if he goes to the Heat?
since KD lowered that standard so much. I feel like no, because like I mean I hate it as much as I hate it. We got out of it, and I was so happy that Kawhi basically Thanos snapped that away.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because he could have joined 80, LeBron, and like everyone else, and he's like, no, I wanna make this competitive. Like that, let's be
no, I
honest, that
want
would
to
have
fucking
probably been the
lose
best
the
victory you've
pandemic
ever
peak.
seen talent wise.
Huh?
That would have been the best victory you've ever seen, like easily. Because it's like three top five players in the NBA.
It would have been
Like, dude,
sad. I wouldn't watch basketball still. But yeah, I feel like since KD lowered it and made like players feel more like they have more control when it comes to their decisions on going to what place they want to do. Um, I feel like that's where Giannis is gonna want to go to somewhere else. But I still will consider it a weak move only for that because I still don't respect Kevin Durant for doing that move. And I think a lot of people still feel those scars of the Warriors just dominating for those 3 years. And it was just so annoying. Like we felt like it was unfair. It was unfair to the whole league. You felt it. I felt it. And I feel like that's where basketball was just losing its kind of competitiveness. Like, remember the 2016 season? Everything was so balanced. Everything was like
Kobe's retirement, the 73-9 Warriors, LeBron's 31 comeback, the playoffs were sick.
the
Like,
Spurs 76 win team.
no, it's
Not 76,
67. 67
67.
flipped it, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, like straight up, like like the 2017 was supposed to be the sequel, and then we see July 4th, Katie signed with the Warriors. Like, it's like no
We were
one was
like,
hyped for that season because everyone knew how it would end. It was just a matter of how quickly it would happen, you know?
and even though like we were excited, like to see the Cavs go up against the Warriors, and we were like, oh, maybe they'll make a 3-1 comeback again,
I mean,
and
especially
then
after Christmas Day, we were like, oh man, the Cavs had the talent to compete. And it's like
yeah,
they like tricked you into
dude,
thinking that they were gonna.
you know how happy I was seeing that like LeBron could still beat the crap out of the Warriors. But I mean, that's when, the Warriors just found their click and they started getting better and better and better. And that's when basketball started losing its views very massively. I don't think I watched the finals back to back.
Yeah, like
But
I barely watched the finals.
it was really sad. But yeah, I would still consider it a weak move.
Yeah. So how do you think the Celtics and Heat series is gonna go? I mean, I was so impressed with the Heat in game one to come back in
They're
that
still the
scenario.
underdogs. I still
Yeah.
find the Heat the underdogs compared to the Celtics. Let's be honest, they still don't have Gordon Hayward, so that's something very massive that they're missing. Um, I'm getting like Russell Westbrook vibes whenever Gordon Hayward comes back. That he's just not going to be that level type of player again, and kind of like drive the team a little too much down. But I could see this going to Heat in 6, just because how defensively maintained the Heat are. Man, Tyler Hero, he is a veteran disguised as a rookie. Like I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know what.
you saw Dom 2K stream. It's like I need to see some receipts that this man is certified 20 years old.
Yeah, like no way Tyler Hero is that good. And he shows up better than Kendrick Nunn, which I haven't seen him at all because he's been playing so terrible in the bubble. But he's a really big, shot maker when it comes to being clutch. Like that shot he made last game was just supremely clutch. That's not a rookie there, man. Like that's Landry Shamet, type of rookie. Like, I thought Landry Shamet was like a veteran when he came onto the Clippers. Like he was making clutch shots here and there. Like
Who
Landry
was that
Shamet
guy
got
that was
crossed.
like? Who was that guy that came into the league as like 38 years old? I feel like that's what Tyler Hero is already. Like he's like like a seasoned veteran, even though he's
Dennis Rodman came into the league like 26 years old as a rookie.
no, it
Like
wasn't him. It was the guy. There was a guy on the Knicks of all teams. Of course, it was
yeah,
the Knicks.
Pablo Pargiani.
Yeah, he's like 13 years old. 38
Yeah,
years
like
old over from Italy and just starts lighting it up. Yep.
yeah.
Man.
Dude, that Knicks team was so old. Like they were a retirement home by by the end of it. It was so sad, bro.
Oh, that was hilarious. I think that I have to go with Heat. I'm not backing against them anymore. Like Heat in 7. I think it's gonna be a very, very fun 7 too. I think that if Gordon Hayward comes back, then that could swing it to Celtics in 6 or Celtics in
But
7.
even at that, what can Gordon Hayward bring to the table that the Heat
Six,
can
six
defend?
man off the roll. Like that's something the Celtics are missing. Is like another
But put
star off the
on
bench.
put Andre
Like
Iguodala or Jay Crowder or even Jimmy Butler on him. He's not
well,
gonna do
Jimmy
anything.
Butler's too busy guard Jason Tatum, and then Iguodala. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna put on Brown at some point in the series. Like I would at least, you know. And then Bam Adebayo is too busy blocking Jason Tatum's dunk attempt.
Dude, that dunk
That was insane.
that was
That was
crazy.
insane.
When I saw that, like when I saw Jason like driving to the paint, I was like, "Oh shoot, Bam, you're screwed, man." And then
Yeah,
I noticed like how he used his left hand and how it went that back and he protected. That Bam is special, man. Bam is
yeah. I
yeah.
swear it was like that. You're not gonna know what I'm talking about, but like in FIFA 20, there's like a goalkeeper animation where like they literally have to break their arm to let the ball go in. Bam did the opposite of that. He broke his arm to stop the ball going in. You know, like in FIFA 20, it would be like the ball will be right here, and then their arm will go like, whoa, and it will like break the laws of physics. I swear, like Bam did the opposite. Like the ball was going right here, and he went just like completely destroyed his arm to try and block that shot. But yeah, all right.
It
So
was it was kind of like a player taking an injury, or like a guy diving in towards a bullet to save another person. Like it was kind of that kind of play. I'm serious, cause
Like honestly, you're
Bam,
not
like
wrong.
honestly, his hand's got to be broken somehow or something, cause the way it bended that
Yeah,
back,
like that much.
just for him to like save the game like that.
I
That's
mean, but that Jimmy Butler and one, that was like one of the toughest and ones I've ever seen. Like, holy cow, that was a
oh,
man's drive.
to
That
be
was a
honest,
man versus a kid.
I
That
was
was
I was a I was
that
really
was
rooting for the Boston Celtics for this game because I have so much love for them and how bad Kyrie treated them last year. I just have so much respect for the Boston Celtics squad. But man, the Heat are just a whole nother level. They're like the underdogs that just will kind of like Rey Mysterio. They'll just prove anybody wrong.
yeah.
uh,
So you mentioned it a little bit ago. Do you want to talk about Kyrie rooting the Celtics? I'll be the side guy for this one. This is your segment here. Well, just keep in mind we got to wrap this up in like 12 minutes.
yeah, I was like, man, I gotta go to bed soon. Sorry, you were saying?
Do you want to talk about the Kyrie? You mentioned it earlier, the Kyrie segment. Do you want to go into that?
Yeah, I want to go into the Kyrie segment. I get it. Like, even when Kyrie was trying to cancel the NBA bubble, uh, I get like where he was coming from. Like, we gotta put it, and this is where I guess it kind of gets a little political. He was trying to put Black Lives Matter in front of it, but I felt like even though Kyrie was trying to do his job, dude, like, come on, man, like Kyrie is a very toxic player, and you can't really understand the mind of Kyrie because of how he is. Like he went to go, he he asked for a trade, wanted to get his own team, and he got that exactly. I felt like the Boston Celtics. Let's be honest, the Boston Celtics were the perfect team for him. Like they were really there. Like if Kyrie was not injured for that postseason when they went up against LeBron, and that's where Jason Tatum just said, "I'm gonna show up in the biggest moments." Let's be honest, they would have beat LeBron and maybe uh, lost to the Warriors in like good six
Oh,
or
you were about
five.
to just hype them up. You were about to hype them up, then you realized it was. Oh yeah, they were going against the Warriors. They're boned.
Even though like they were beating the crap out of the Warriors that season, I don't see the Warriors losing that game or that series. But I mean, Kyrie, he for a player that's so talented and so creative with the ball, how are you this
So
sensitive?
dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, like dude, like Jesus, like it's not that hard. All you have to do is just play basketball, ignore the media like Kawhi, and just take it your day. Like, dude, it's not that hard. I'm getting a lot of Dennis Rodman vibes from him, where like he's gonna like change his look every year and like become like this weird type of player. Like I don't know why,
Coming in
but
with
like
the Carmen Electra in his bed and like pink hair and a bunch of earrings,
dressed in a wedding outfit, like I'm seeing Kyrie, that kind of player.
dressing
Kyrie,
up as a jester just as a joke.
like I don't see like Kyrie. Every team he touches, he leaves off like with a gray of decay, and they somehow sometimes they get better without him. That's just how it is. Like I don't know the way how Kyrie called out those players when he was on the Nets was just irresponsible, and to do that in front of the media, that's not a big brother type of play. That's a guy who doesn't. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
how to
he's just
put it.
like that's a bitch move basically.
That's a bitch move. Yeah, you don't call out your teammates like that.
Yeah,
And
it's like he
ironically,
didn't he
um,
call out the exact actual names too. Like
yeah, he said we gotta have Karis LeVert show up. We gotta have Joe Harris do a lot better. And I was like, what? Those guys are, they showed up the most during this season when you weren't there and bitching around and trying to quit the NBA bubble while you were just gonna stay there and just sit on your couch. Like dude, like I never saw a player be so, I don't know, divided. And I
yeah, I
guess
know
that's
what you
where
mean.
like him and Kevin Durant kind of match well. And
Yeah, because they're both toxic snakes.
Yeah, it's kind of like, seeing those two toxic couple going together. I guess it works because, they're just
Imagine they added Westbrook though as like the baby, dude.
Jesus, man.
That'd
No,
be
Katie
so
ran
messed
away
up.
from Westbrook. There's a reason. Like Katie had some kind of like, he had some kind of mind about
I
it. Like he
remember.
was like, I can't win with this guy.
Did you ever watch Game of Zones?
Yeah.
The season 7, like the line where he's like, "Hey, why didn't you let me create my own shots? I left so you could take all the dumb shots that you wanted." It's like, it's
Like
like, damn,
literally.
bro. Yeah. All
Like,
right, let's get into Nuggets Lakers. I think, yeah, we're about
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. We got to wrap this up. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So Nuggets Lakers. I'll let you talk first. What do you think? What are your keys to the series, and how do you think this is going to
Congratulations, LeBron. You're getting your fourth ring.
end?
That's the way I'm seeing it. If the
Even with the
Heat
Nuggets.
somehow, find a way how to stop LeBron and the Lakers, which I don't, um, because I feel like the Lakers are just that driven for Kobe, and I want the Lakers to win that bad. Um, Congratulations, LeBron. You just won. Like
I mean,
that's pretty much what
2009,
I'm saying.
2009 to 2020 are like super similar because I remember I saw it was in the Western Conference Finals. It was the Nuggets and the Lakers. Kobe was going for his fourth ring in Orlando, and hang on, let me think. There was like one more like ultra May. Oh yeah, the Clippers got eliminated in the second round or some shit. It's like
Mm.
some like other scenario. It's like this is like, oh no, the Celtics were in the Eastern Conference Finals, and so it's like, or yeah, the Eastern Conference Finals, right? Yeah, it was no, was it the
No, no,
East
no.
or
It was the Cavs and this Orlando. The
yeah, I
Celtics
don't know.
didn't
It
make
was
it
it
that
was
year.
something, like it was some other like random fact. It's like, okay, this is a little bit creepy, you know. It's like the same thing with the Clippers blowing. Like the Clippers had a 3-1 lead. They had a 19-point lead in Game 6, and they had Game 7.
Doc Rivers, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, and they blew a 3-1. All right, so how do you think? Do you think that the Lakers are going to get it? How long do you think it's going to take?
6 games. I got
You think
Lakers.
that they're going to go 3-1? They're going to test the Nuggets again?
Okay, if they go up 3-1, maybe that's where LeBron should get a little scared. But then again, LeBron is the 3-1 master himself. He was the
Yeah,
original.
it's like it's like it's
What
like
if the
Thanos.
Nuggets go up 3-1 and then like LeBron just says, "Okay, hold up."
Hold up. No, dude, if the Nuggets go 3-1, it's done for them. I think if the Nuggets go 3-1, they're not going to be the ones to blow it. They're going to be, dude. Imagine the Nuggets versus the Heat. Imagine trying to promote that, dude. That's like
Oh,
a
it's
promotional
so
nightmare.
no, 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 no. There's no way. There's no way.
We said
This
that
is the
about the Nuggets.
Lakers.
We said about the Lakers Clippers. There's no way it's not going to happen, And
Yeah, but I
then
mean,
look what
like,
happened. The
the
Grizzlies
NBA is
robbed their
not
stuff
that dumb.
again.
They're not gonna say fuck. Like, it was kind of like when it was the Mavericks versus the Miami Heat, the 2005 finals. Like, yeah, it was all fun and games that the Mavericks were doing that well. Okay, time for D Wade to start getting fouled and hit these free throws real quick. Like, like the NBA, like they know what's up. Like, they don't want that kind of shit to happen. Like, as much as respect it was to that Mavericks team, let's be honest. Like,
It's
we
like
wanted.
the Spurs and it was like there's a potential matchup like the Pacers and the Celtics in 2013, or not the Pacers and the Celtics, like the Spurs and the Pacers or something like that. And you
Oh
imagine
my
promoting it,
god.
like in 2013, imagine promoting no the Grizzlies and the Pacers is the Grizzlies. Imagine trying to promote that shit, dude. Like imagine trying to promote the Pacers and Spurs or the Grizzlies and the Pacers. Like that's like the same level as the Nuggets and the Heat. Like yeah, the Heats are historically good, but like, dude, come on now.
But
Like,
if it's like the Celtics or something like historical like that, you could
yeah,
see more of
Celtics
a
Lakers is like
promotion.
the dream for the Miami versus the Lakers or Miami, like literally any Lakers team, the Lakers versus whoever's in the East. So long as the Nuggets don't get in, the NBA is set.
That's where I feel like that's where, freaking what's his name? The Austin, no, not Austin,
Adam
but the
Silver,
NBA commissioner Adam Silver is gonna step in and say, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay,
starting
Nuggets, you
2K.
had a good run. It was fun and all, but now it's time for you guys to go." Like that's where I feel like it's gonna happen. Like
It's
it's
like,
time for LeBron to win now.
yeah, it's like whatever you can do in 2K where you can force win to a team and
Mhm.
simulate. It's gonna be like that.
Like I feel like the Nuggets could go 3-0 and like the Lakers would still win out of that series. Like
Yeah,
There's
like
no
in
way
the
LeBron is.
reverse sweep, it's like Silver would be like, all right, we're gonna pay you guys refs $1 million bonus if you can fuck up the Nuggets. It's like, yeah, let's do this. Like, oh my god, that'd be starting 2K lives again. You know,
Yeah.
except in the
I
actual Adam. So no, but
I
like, I'm predicting Lakers and I've said Lakers in 6 the whole way. I think they'll lose game 1 again. Just for fans. Because it's
but
not the
even at
Clippers.
then, you know what? I'm gonna double down on the Lakers and go Lakers in 5, because this is a Lakers team. Like if after game 1, they let's be honest, they probably will lose game 1, and after that, they're gonna make so much adjustments. Frank Vogel, he is a very defensive-minded coach, and I have a lot of respect for that. Same with their assistant coach of Jason Kidd. There's a lot of pieces where you could see everything working out, but you could see a lot of pieces everything going wrong.
Yeah, I think
So
that people need to put some fucking respect on the name of the Nuggets, bro. Like Dame Lillard put it best. Put some fucking respect on my name. Yeah, like they need some respect. Like I think I can see them winning this series. Like that's not an overstatement, especially since they already beat the Clippers after being down 3-1. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe Jamal Murray's girlfriend worked some magic in Grizzly Laundry or some shit.
Jamal Murray was getting that head right after that
Yeah.
game 7 again. Like, bro, he was
Hey,
about
yeah,
to
so
get
I'm
blown
predicting
again.
Lakers in 6. You're predicting Lakers in 5. What about the other series? Celtics in 6. I'm predicting Heat in 7.
I want this. I want it to go to 7, so I'm probably going with Heat in 7 as well.
All right, so then we both have Miami versus LA. And so who
Because
do we have?
Miami and Celtics are
We got to
extremely
wrap this up really
balanced.
quickly, though. So just give me the prediction for your series.
Okay,
And if
Heat
when
in
we get to
7,
the finals, then we'll
Lakers
do
in
another one.
Heat in 7, Lakers in 5.
Huh?
Heat in 7, Lakers in 5.
Imagine they lose on the buzzer beater.
Who?
The Lakers. I'm saying Lakers in 7 for both games, or Lakers in 6, Lakers in 7. All
All
right,
right.
so thanks, Matthew, for phrasing. This has been a decently length episode, like an hour 20. Nothing special. Not like the 2-hour specials we have. But thank you guys for listening to In the Zone episode 8. I don't know when this will go up. Hopefully, pretty soon. But thank you again, Matthew, for joining. It's been a fun talk.
Gotcha.
You're a fun guy. I don't know. I can't really give you a whole spiel on that one.
Right.
All right, well, see you, Matthew, and thank
All
you
right,
guys
see
for
ya.
listening.
All right.